The regular meeting of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, February 16th, 2026 will please come to order. Good evening. Those of you who are in attendance, we're happy to see you. Please take a moment, if you would, to check your cell phone to make sure that you have placed it on silent or vibrate. And for those who are participating remotely, we welcome you this evening as well. Members of the public are asked to place their microphone on mute during the meeting. At the appropriate point in the meeting, I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they may wish to make, one person at a time. All persons making a public comment will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and after completing the comment, members of the public are once again asked to place their microphone on mute. And we thank all of you for your cooperation with us this evening. With that, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Hazen?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Carroll?
Here.
Mr. Benicki?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Ms. Hahn?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Violi?
Here.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Here.
All present in the council chambers.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of February 2nd, 2026. Are there any additions or corrections? Then, hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have a letter from the City Plan Commission regarding their recommendations from their February 10th, 2026 meeting. Honorable members, a regular meeting of the Mishawaka City Plan Commission was held on the above referenced date, at which time the following petitions were considered. Petition number 2026-01, a request submitted by Northridge Valley LLC and Northridge Valley 2 LLC requesting to annex and establish zoning as R1 single-family residential for property located at 55660 Fur Road for a proposed residential subdivision. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval. Petition number 2026-02, a request submitted by Granger Community Church and City of Mishawaka requesting to annex and establish zoning as C1 General Commercial for property located on the west side of North Fur Road, approximately 120 feet north of East McKinley Avenue, and requesting to rezone 1550 East McKinley and 1554 East McKinley from C4 Automobile Oriented to C1 General Commercial. The commission, with a vote of 7-0, recommended approval, and this is signed by Donna Witt, Administrative Planner.
Thank you. This evening, we have no report of any special committee, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2026-04, an ordinance annexing contiguous territory to the city of Mishawaka, Indiana, and providing zoning classification therefore. This is to annex and establish zoning as R1 single-family district at 55660 Fur Road.
Proposed ordinance 2026-04 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2026-05, an ordinance annexing contiguous territory to the city of Mishawaka, Indiana, and providing zoning classification therefore. This is to annex and establish zoning as C1 General Commercial and rezone from C4 Automobile Oriented Commercial to C1 General Commercial, northwest corner of McKinley and Fur Road, 1550 East McKinley.
Proposed ordinance 2026-05 will be assigned to the Land Use Planning Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2026-06, an ordinance adopting revised rates and charges for water services furnished to the city of Mishawaka's municipal water utilities.
Proposed ordinance 2026-06 will be assigned to the Budget and Finance Committee. Resolutions.
Resolution 2026-02, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, approving a petition of the Mishawaka Board of Zoning Appeals for the property located at 340 West Cleveland Road. This is a use variance to allow a second-floor residential unit in the commercial building occupied Josephina Photography, 340 West Cleveland Road.
Thank you. At this time, we'll open the public hearing on proposed resolution 2026-02 Anyone wishing to speak, either in person or remotely with respect to 340 West Cleveland Road, please identify yourself.
My name is Mark Shea. I'm the general manager at Centennial Place and the owner of the property at 340 West Cleveland.
Thank you, sir. Please proceed.
Yes, our current tenant has been operating a business, a photo studio on the premises, which is a historical home on Cleveland Road. The home was used as a single-family residence for approximately 80 years prior to it becoming a business zoning. The current resident wants to live there as well, operate her business on the first floor. So she wants to live upstairs, and so we need a variance approval for from a B use to a B and C use.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the council? Mrs. Volker.
Thank you. Hi, Mr. Shea. Thank you for being on the phone with us today. I did have a question. I don't love this, having somebody live in a commercial district, as just seems like this is my subjective thought. It just seems lonely and maybe a little bit dangerous. But my question is there a kitchen?
Yes, there is, but she will actually not be needing a kitchen as she plans on using microwave and toaster oven, is what she had told me.
Is the kitchen, I mean, I've been in that place. I miss I miss Wakarusa candy.
Yeah,
The kitchen was on the first floor, right?
correct. She
Okay.
does not intend on using that as her kitchen.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Other questions from the council? Then, thank you, sir. I do want to applaud you for the detailed information that you submitted along with your petition. I perhaps would have had concerns along the lines of my friend and colleague, Mrs. Volker, but the context that you placed this in with respect to the former use of this as a residence, the fact that there are bedrooms already upstairs that are in existence, and just the additional detail, the information from the architect. If our staff encourage you to submit this, I'll applaud them as well, but I found that to be very helpful. So thank you for the information that you've provided.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, if you would, please remute your microphone, and then I will ask if there is anyone else with us this evening who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed resolution. If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone else participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Mrs. Volker.
Thank you. I just had a question about the variance, and once we give the variance to this property, then that stays that way unless we change it back, correct?
I'll ask Mr. Prince to come correct me if I misstate this, but I do believe that the variance runs with the land. So a subsequent owner would be subject to the same conditions and be allowed to make use of this as this tenant and current owner would be.
And the only way that it would be, just a follow-up question, the only way that it would be changed back or that the variance would go away is if the property owner asked for the variance to go away?
That's one way, if memory serves. I think if there would be a substantial change, if the building was destroyed, they then would have to initiate the process. If the building sat vacant in the requisite period, but it's fairly lengthy, if the building sat vacant, I believe that the use variance also would no longer be applicable. But I agree with you that it would be most likely to come to pass that a subsequent owner would ask to have it rezoned or have the use changed. Mr.
Thank
Prince, did I misstate anything there?
Mr. President, members of council, Ken Prince, Director of Planning and Community Development. You did not state anything incorrectly. I will say, though, that the non-conforming status likely wouldn't apply once you grant the variance, so that 6-month provision likely doesn't apply, but everything else was spot on.
Give me a B-. Thank you, Mr. Prince. Any questions for Mr. Prince?
Thank you.
sir. Then we are back to any additional questions or comments from the council. And hearing none, I will call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
No.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Han?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksenbaugh?
Yes.
The resolution passes 8-1. Resolution R 2026-05, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, making a final determination and confirming the designation of areas within the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as known as 1121 and 1025 West 11th Street as an economic revitalization area for purposes of real property tax abatement. I do have a request from the petitioner asking that these be postponed until our next meeting of March 2nd. And that would be for this and for the next resolution.
Thank you. Then at this time, based upon the request of the petitioner, the chair would entertain a motion to postpone further public hearing on both Resolution 2026-05 and 2026-06 until our regularly scheduled council meeting of March 2nd, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to postpone further public hearing on proposed Resolution 2026-05 and 2026-06 at the request of the petitioner until our regularly scheduled meeting of March 2nd, 2026. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, so the matter will be postponed until March 2nd, both matters, rather, I'm sorry, will be postponed until March 2nd, 2026. Ordinances on second reading.
Proposed ordinance 2026-03, an ordinance concerning the construction of additions, improvements, and extensions to the sewage works of the City of Mishawaka, the issuance of revenue bonds to provide the cost thereof, the collection, segregation, and distribution of the revenues of said works, the safeguarding of the interests of the owners of said revenue bonds, other matters connected therewith, including the issuance of notes in anticipation of bonds, and repealing ordinances inconsistent herewith. It has been requested that this proposed ordinance be amended.
Thank you. Then before we move forward with the consideration of the amendment, could we have a brief summary of what we're being asked to amend?
Good afternoon, Mr. Hicksenbaugh, or President Hicksenbaugh. Catherine Finello, attorney with the law firm of Dinsmore and Scholl, serving as bond counsel for the 2026 issuance of the sewage works revenue bonds. Maybe the PDF didn't make its way to you, but just a few slight amendments, which I can go through very quickly. On page 5 of the ordinance, we are just clarifying in the, which whereas clause. In the second whereas clause on page 5, we've added the last phrase subject to section 2B of this ordinance, which just means that the tax increment is pledged to the bonds based on the conditions set forth in section 2B, which we've always had in the prior bond issuances. This is just providing some additional clarity to that paragraph. The next amendment is on page 6 of the bond ordinance. and it will be in the top half of the very top paragraph of the page. And the only thing that we have done is deleted the last part of the sentence, which said, which pledge tax increment is junior and subordinate to the payment of the tax increment bonds. We are following the past pledge resolutions of the Redevelopment Commission, but that last phrase is not needed. It is set forth from the clause, but such pledges do not include the pledge tax increment. So just, again, to speak in plain English and not confuse the pledge, we have tried to bring some clarity, further clarity to that paragraph. All lawyers strive for plain English, right? No.
Absolutely.
At least I am. All right, on page 9 of the ordinance, within that long paragraph that begins, the revenue bonds will be payable solely out of, within that paragraph, what we have done is after the pledge tax increment, which is in quotes, we have revised the language to match the prior pledge resolutions because it was not wrong, but it was not exact. It was not as clear as it could have been. So prior bond ordinances had used this language, and upon reviewing it after the first version that was provided to the council, I suggested that this language be identical to the TIF pledge resolutions so that there would be no difference within the ordinance. And we have also clarified by adding the date December 31st, 2039, which is in the middle of the page. It is my understanding from Baker Tilly that the last year of tax increment within the consolidated area would be through December 31st, 2039. That had not been clarified previously, and we thought it better to make that clarification in the ordinance. So really just kind of tweaking some of the prior ordinance language to bring some additional clarity.
Thank you for that summary, Counselor. Any questions from the council? Ms. Volk?
I'm sorry, I will add one more. There was one more amendment, and this was requested by SRF, and it is on page 45 in section E. And we have just added the city will obtain the prior written consent of the authority for any changes that had not been in prior ordinances.
Thank you for that as well. Mrs. Volker?
Point of clarification. It appears to me that all the changes that are being described as an amendment are actually in the ordinance that we have in front of us.
Yes.
So I don't understand why we need an amendment.
If I understood, and I'll ask Ms. Vanilla to correct me, but I believe that the ordinance that was submitted for first reading, rather than the ordinance that we have us in front of us this evening, reflected that
Okay.
additional or language that was changed through this amendment.
Okay.
So, a series of changes that only lawyers and financial advisors would love, but necessary nevertheless, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Thank you, Counselor. Then, at this time, the chair would entertain a motion to amend proposed ordinance 2026-03 to reflect the revised ordinance that has been submitted to us this evening, consistent with the summary of the changes that was just stated of record by bond counsel. So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to substitute in an amended proposed ordinance 2026-03 that is consistent with the amended ordinance that has been presented to the council. Any additional questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Carroll.
Thank you. As required from time to time, I'm obligated to abstain from voting on this for professional reasons and subsequent vote to adopt the ordinance.
So noted for the record. Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Any additional questions or comments? Then hearing none, all those in favor of the proposed amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it with one recusal. So at this time, we will ask for the committee report on proposed ordinance 2026-03 as amended.
Thank you, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Budget and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2026-03, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Once again, the record will reflect Mr. Carroll's recusal. And with that, we'll move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2026-03 as amended. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Good evening, President Hixenbaugh and esteemed members of the Common Council. Matt Lynch, Executive Director of Development, Governmental Affairs, City of Mishawaka, 100 Lincoln Way West, City of Mishawaka. Thank you for the opportunity to speak briefly to you tonight. You will hear shortly from our attorney, Catherine, who you've already heard from, but more about the bonds themselves. And then after she is done, you'll hear from our friends and partners at Baker Tilly on the numbers, coverage, and compliance. I'm here to give you the big picture, to explain why bonding remains a necessary responsible tool for Mishawaka and what the investment will mean for our residents, our river, and our future. So first, a word of thanks. Before anything else, I want to thank you again for your leadership in approving the Mishawaka wastewater rate plan. The vote was not easy. It required foresight, discipline, and a willingness to think beyond the next election cycle. Because of that decision, our utility remains financially strong, our bond coverage is healthy, and we are able to finance critical infrastructure today. Without that action, this ordinance would not be possible. So thank you. Why we're here tonight? The ordinance allows us to issue revenue bonds to fund essential improvements to our sewage system. In practical terms, this is how communities like ours responsibly pay for large, long-term infrastructure that no single year budget could cover. The bond, the rate plan, the asset improvement plan, asset management plan has things that we can fund by cash, but other things every third year that we need to fund that's going to take multiple years because of the cost of the infrastructure. Bonding is not taking on unnecessary debt. It's about spreading the cost of essential infrastructure fairly over the generations we will use it. What these bonds will accomplish, these bonds will directly support projects that improve treatment capacity, strengthen system reliability, reduce overflow risks, modernize aging infrastructure, and protect the St. Joseph River. Specifically, this funding will support critical sewer and interceptor improvements, treatment system upgrades, conveyance and capacity enhancements, and continued long-term control plan and compliance work. These projects are not cosmetic. They are core system investments that will keep our systems running. The impact on our community, what does it mean for residents? It means fewer system failures, lower risk of backup and overflows, better water quality, stronger environmental protection, and greater long-term reliability. It means protecting public health. It means protecting property values. It means protecting one of our greatest assets, and that is the river that runs through our city. Mishawaka has not avoided this responsibility. Over many years, we have invested more than $420 million in water and wastewater infrastructure. We have separated sewers. We have modernized treatment. We have upgraded our systems. We have done the hard work. The record gives us credibility today. That record does. It tells regulators, investors, and residents that Mishawaka keeps its promises. Why bonding is the right tool? As I said before, these projects cannot be paid for responsibly out of operating budgets. We cannot just use cash for this. It's too expensive, and the infrastructure mandates that we fund this over many years. So bonding allows us to lock in predictable costs, access capital at favorable rates, protect rate stability, and maintain strong reserves. It is a financially responsible way to fund long-term assets. And because of your prior actions, we are in a position to do this from a place of strength and not crisis. We never want to be before you asking for dollars to pay for a big, critical piece of infrastructure that has gone bad. We have looked at, through the asset management plan, what are the big items that we need to make sure we're funding. We have appropriate reserves to do so, but we want to make sure that we're funding infrastructure, especially the really expensive infrastructure, and most of it is over a period of years and at the best rate. So we believe that the ordinance reflects the Mishawaka way. We plan, we invest, we protect our residents, we honor our commitments, we deliver results. We don't wait for problems to become emergencies. We address them responsibly. And just of note, some of the specific projects that we're talking about are biosolids upgrade, grid system upgrade, digester draft tubes and mixers, lift station, cell conversion, diffuser membrane replacement, headwork screens, lift station at Park Place, lift station at Lakeshore Estates, biofilter rehabilitation, bisulfite bulk storage tank, blower replacement, lift station Bittersweet Cove, lift station Schumacher, Linden area, sewer separations, Twin Branch, sewer separations, West Street area, sewer separations, safety and security upgrades. That's a mouthful, a great list of projects. Many of them, truly, I don't know what they do. I know it's critical to our wastewater infrastructure. So authorizing the city to issue these bonds in the amount of $38,140 with an interest rate not to exceed 7%, and for a term up to 25 years to carry out the projects listed on the Exhibit A of the ordinance, page 54, provide the 2026 bonds will be payable from the net revenue of the city's sewage works and will be issued on a parity with the city's outstanding 2010A bonds, 2015 bonds, 2017A bonds, 2017B bonds, 2018 bonds, and the 2023 bonds. The outstanding amounts for these bonds are listed on page 2 of the ordinance. So I know that our folks who will come after me will be able to answer all of the technical questions, but I would submit to you that these bonds are essential for funding our infrastructure that's, for years to come, to making sure that we have the dollars to do our long-term control plans, as well as strengthening the works of our wastewater plant. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Lunch? Mr. Viola?
I think you misspoke. I think you said 38,000. You want to give us that number again of the value, of the amount of the bonds? 38,000. I think it's
38,000, I'm sorry,
For the record.
thank you.
Yep.
38,140,000.
It's a big difference, I think.
It is.
Thank you.
I was doing napkin math. My apologies.
Thank you, Mr. Violi. Other questions for Mr. Lynch?
For the record.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else with us physically this evening who wishes to speak in favor? If so, please come forward. And then is there anyone with us remotely who wishes to speak in favor?
Did you want me to give a presentation, President Hicksonville?
That's really between you and the administration. It was, from Mr. Lynch's comments, I took it that you were going to be providing some additional detail, but I will defer to Mr. Lynch.
Yes, I can.
Catherine, I think we're going to have our friends from Baker Tilly, since they're here in person, come up now. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Counselor.
All right. Good evening, Council. Ian Stahl with Baker Tilly. So I think Matt here kind of laid out quite a few of the details, and thank you for that, Matt. So we'll try and keep things a little bit light here and happy to answer any questions. So really this debt issuance is a culmination of what we brought forth for the last year through the rate plan. So no surprises there. I know it's been kind of talked through again for about a year. So this is all just that next step in that process. So no craziness there along those lines. So this bond ordinance is essentially contemplating issuing that $38,140,000 of debt identified in that rate plan. So again, just an authorization in that standpoint is what this bond ordinance is doing. Currently working through the bond process, obviously continuation subject to approval of this ordinance, but things are going smoothly as anticipated. And things continue to project to be smooth there. So what we built into this rate plan and what has culminated as part of the debt service coverage calculations we're required to do as part of the consultant's report and part of the preliminary official statement process, we anticipate fully that the city is going to have a continuation of high debt service coverage. What we're anticipating right now is nothing below 143% of debt service coverage. Typical mandates are 125%, so holding that debt service coverage that's higher than that lowest floor there obviously helps in credibility or interest rates, as well as maintaining coverage for those debt payments. So that's kind of our snippet of these bonds, and happy to go into, again, any more detail or questions. I know we've covered most of those questions as part of the rate plan, but certainly happy to go through those things again or any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Well, again, thank you for the work that you did throughout that year-long plus process to get us to this point. And thanks to everyone else at Baker Tilly as well.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? I think you're still muted. There we go.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Just a few additional points in the bond ordinance. They are authorized for up to 25 years. However, Baker Tilly anticipates that the term will be 20 years. The bonds will be sold at a competitive sale, which allows for bids to be taken on the day of sale in order to obtain the best interest rate for the city. And just a reminder that the bonds are payable solely from the net revenues of the city's sewage works, so they are not payable from any other funds except those net revenues that go into the sewage works, which includes the pledged tax increment. They are redeemable no sooner than 10 years after the date of issuance with 30 days notice, and the ordinance does allow for future bond issues on a parity with the other bonds that are currently outstanding. So happy to answer any additional questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Vanello? Then thank you for your patience with us as we work through the technology of remote participation, but more importantly, thank you for your work on bringing this ordinance to us this evening.
And thank you for the remote attendance. I will let you know, I just recently attended my grandfather's 100th birthday. So I am out of town doing that.
Congratulations.
I would suspect that you have had much more fun at the birthday festivities than you had participating in our meeting this evening, but we appreciate you being
Well,
here
it's-
nevertheless.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else then who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed ordinance? Hearing no one, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Again, I want to thank our outside professionals who have helped us throughout this process, but also department heads and the staff who worked long and hard on this as well. One of the things, and it's appropriately so covered in Ms. Norton's cover letter to us, is we know this, but I don't think people realize the extra steps that we take when we make these investments and we bring these projects to fruition, to not just focus on the sewer, but it's those improvements to the streets and the curbs and the sidewalk. And those added benefits of the investment that we make, it's enough of a benefit for us to be responsible stewards of the environment, to try to make sure that we were doing everything possible to avoid those overflows into the river. It's enough of a justification that we're reinvesting in our physical plant so that we have the ability to deliver the service now, but also set the stage to be able to meet anticipated growth in the future. But the fact that we take those extra steps that bring benefit to our neighborhoods and to the community as part of these projects, I appreciate the effort that goes into that. So no one likes to raise rates, but I continue to believe, as I believed when we voted on the rate ordinance some time ago, that this is a necessary investment on behalf of making sure that we have a reliable utility, and in this instance, wastewater utility service that we can provide to our residents, our business owners, and everybody who visits Mishawaka. So again, I appreciate the work that went into this, and I am most definitely in support of this ordinance. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, I will call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen,
Yes.
Mrs. Volker,
Yes.
Mr. Carroll,
Abstaining from this?
Mr. Benicki,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Ms. Hahn,
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti,
Yes.
Mr. Violi,
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor and 1 abstention. Passes.
Thank you. And with that, we will move into privilege of the floor. At this time, members of the public are invited to the podium to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor. Seeing no one, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Thank you. And with that, we will move into unfinished business. One information item under unfinished business, as the council is aware, and those who follow our council meetings may recall, this council, at the request of the FOP, passed an ordinance to set the stage for a merit commission to be created for the Mishawaka Police Department. But under the terms of that ordinance, as well as state law, a second, more formal vote of the FOP was required. That vote has taken place, and the proposed merit commission did not meet with the approval of a majority of our sworn officers. So at this point in time, there will be no merit commission that will be created for our police department. It will be at least a year, if not longer, before the council could reconsider that proposal. My own personal opinion is that when and if it comes to us, we would need to have a much more substantial show of support from our police officers before we went down this road again. I continue to believe it's in the best interest of the community, but I respect the opinion of our police officers, and if they don't see the need, I'm not in favor personally of going down this road again without that clear showing of support on their part. So I simply wanted to note that for the record. And with that, if there is no other unfinished business, we'll move into new business. Is there any new business to come before the council? Mr. Emmons.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. President. Just a reminder that the First District West End monthly meeting will be this Thursday, February 19th at St. Babel's, as usual, starting at 7 o'clock. Our guest speaker will be Brian Tanner. He's president of the county council, and he's got a lot of information that he'd like to share with the constituents. And that, so again, that's on the 19th, this Thursday, at 7 o'clock at St. Babel's. And as usual, West End Bakery will be supplying the refreshments, but being paid for by the councilman. And that. And also, I'd like to note that the West End Bakery was awarded that it's the best place to take your girlfriend or date for sweets. So congratulations, Mr. Mamalini, and look forward to seeing everybody Thursday so you can sample the donuts and pastries from the bakery. So thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to West End Bakery and Mr. Mamalante. Other new business to come before the council? Then hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.